Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. It is a very wet and rainy one, which seems to be a channel feature. Thankfully, it was not raining during delivery day, which is very rare. I feel like I haven't had a non-rainy delivery day in a long time, but this car was beautiful to take delivery on a sunny day. I will make my intro quick. I already have almost 2,000 miles on this car in the last like 2-3 weeks. I love driving it. There's a lot of driving feedback and a lot of thoughts and opinions I will share on the channel, as well as go over all the numbers around this car, which I know a lot of people like to get information about when they're shopping for their C8 Corvette and Z06. But today's video is actually, I'm doing a big mod to the car. We are doing a C8 ZR1 style carbon fiber hood on this car, as well as we will be able to see that hood on an E-Ray and a Stingray in real time. It is rainy right now, and I get a couple comments about my continuity on my videos is a little out of whack because I'm all over the place, so I just want to get a video of the stock car before we do the install. After the install, we will have a detailed walkthrough of my thoughts on what this hood are, as well as go over the price and the modification effort that goes into it. It's pretty easy. We've already done 2 cars, so I feel comfortable saying it's maybe a 10 to 15 minute job with 2 people that know what they're doing. And I think it makes this car look super aggressive. Now, the quality of the carbon fiber, for those that do not know, a lot of these aftermarket carbon fiber parts, getting soaked in the rain here, but a lot of this aftermarket carbon fiber parts are manufactured effectively in the same facility in China. And I bought it straight from the manufacturer, so again, the price that I paid is a lot less than what most people will pay, but we'll get the install and do a lot of the stuff on the inside, so let me get over to my friend's shop and do that. But if there's one thing that you take away from today's video, it is to make sure that when you buy aftermarket carbon fiber parts, you're not overpaying for them, because I see vendors selling this hood for almost $5,000. And the cheapest public price that I've seen is, I think, $2,300 on eBay, and I obviously paid a lot less, so we'll go over all of those details once I have the hood installed on the car and we're in a sunny and better day. Not to say that this hood doesn't look great, but again, this is very similar. It might be effectively the same hood, slight bulges than the Stingray. I haven't seen them side by side in a while. But I think the ZR1 style hood looks so much more aggressive, looks so much better, and I think in carbon fiber, as I build and mod this car out, the carbon fiber is going to add some really awesome accents. And so with that said, let me go ahead and get the hood installed, and we will pick this video up on the other side. Always, if you are stopping by for the first time and you want to support my small YouTube channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more content, you have questions around this car, this spec, or buying a C8 Corvette, let me know in the comment sections down below if I can guide you in the right direction on anything. And we are here at my friend's shop. This is one of the baddest 720Ss that I've ever seen, but this carbon fiber hood is manufactured to the same quality and the same vendor that manufactures the hood that we are putting on the C8 Z06. And so as you guys can see, again, very good quality carbon fiber. There are some imperfections. There's a couple spots, if you look in the right light, you can kind of see right there's like a couple small little divots or like uneven surfaces. That's some of the stuff I think you kind of have to expect when you spend a fraction of what these hoods really would cost from, say, a vendor that's within the States. And the reality is most of these vendors actually get their stuff from these Chinese manufacturers and mark them up like crazy, so going straight to the source saved me a ton of money. I spent $1,550, and I will do a more thorough explanation of how that price came to be, but that's shipped to the door. And so this was designed based on the concept and the leaked images of the C8 ZR1. So now that the ZR1 is out, this is actually a little bit more aggressive on the ZR1. The opening's a little bit bigger. It's obviously functional as well, and they have like this nice little rubber gurney that goes on this front portion on the factory spec ZR1 hood that channels aero kind of around, so the aero that's coming through is more of a heat extraction than anything else. But yeah, so the manufacturer of that and the manufacturer of that are the same company to the best of my knowledge. They both originated from China and bought from the same vendor. And so you can tell that these are quality made hoods with some obvious imperfections we'll go over once the install has happened on the C8 Z06. Of all the hoods that are made for the C8 Z06, I think this is the most aggressive one, and this is honestly my favorite one. I've wanted to do this mod ever since I ordered the Z06, and I was going to do it on the next Corvette regardless of whether it was even an E-Ray. We'll go take a look at an E-Ray real soon. But I think it's just going to make this car so much more aggressive. I mean, reality is it's going to make it look kind of like what this car looks in terms of aggressiveness of the hood. Obviously, this is a McLaren, a lot more exotic. But at the end of the day, it's going to have that similar effect where the contrast is going to pop really more. I'm going to have to do a lip probably in carbon fiber as well to really tie it in together, and kind of like the McLaren that you guys see here, probably a little bit of carbon in the top and in the back. And so on this Z06, I plan on doing the front lip in carbon fiber, as well as probably, I don't know if I'll do the side skirts, but definitely the mirrors and the wicker, so I have a nice little carbon theme going from front to back. I may at some point have to do the side skirts in carbon just to tie it in all together, but it will make the car look so much more aggressive. And just like that, the hood is installed, and the finish on the hood obviously needs a little bit of work. If you see it in person, you'll see there's a lot of oiliness, but there's also some kind of like orangish peel stuff. This is kind of what these hoods look like regardless of whether you buy it for a C8 Z06 or if you buy it for the McLaren that we have over here. My friend that installed this on his McLaren said it looked just like this when he bought this exact hood from the same vendor. All you really have to do is give it a good polish and then PPF the hood. There's some stress relief lines. You'll see inside some of the crevices some relief cuts, but other than that, I mean, PPF this thing, polish it, and look how clean this looks. With a little bit of work from a detailer, you can kind of get this to look the same. Not kind of, but actually get it to look just as glossy. So we'll work on that off camera and kind of get that taken care of over the next week. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I think this changes the look of this car substantially. It makes it look so much more aggressive. I'm sure some people will mistake this for a ZR1 because of the way the hood gives it that rough look. Obviously the ZR1 does not have a full carbon hood option that we know of, but similar kind of breakdown of the hood with the pockets that you see here. Now, inside here you just have a regular kind of mesh material with a little bit of like matte black plastics behind it. The light really shows off some of the waviness in it, but outside, if you're in normal daylight, actually doesn't look that bad at all. And I just think this car is going to look aggressive. I'm probably going to wrap the front lip. I could do a lip, but the more I think about it, this lip kind of angles down. I've seen people put lips on the non-Z07 cars, and the aftermarket lips kind of just make it look like now you need a lowering kit, which I never plan to do to this car. And then I'll probably do some carbon wickers and carbon mirrors as we progress with this build on the channel. With that said, man, I think this thing looks so good with this hood. Just super aggressive. If you guys remember, that is actually the Corsa exhaust, the Corsa Extreme from the C8 Corvette back that started this channel, the red C8 Corvette. The exhaust is still kicking and laying around. We're going to probably put this on the E-Ray that my friend has. It was on his Stingray. It obviously doesn't fit a Z06, so I have no real use for it unless I go back to the Stingray, or if I go with an E-Ray, but I really have fallen in love with the sound of the Z06. I will review the E-Ray on the channel at some point. Just waiting to get my hands on one. And that will come quick, so we'll be able to share some feedback on that. But the sound of this car is intoxicating, and it does a really good job fitting in with a lot of higher-end cars. Obviously, on a completely different level, the performance of this car, this is a Stage 2 build with downpipes, completely gaps bus lengths, honestly plain lengths against the C8 Z06. So maybe if General Motors wants to throw me a ZR1 allocation, I can roll with the big dogs and kind of have the Corvette stand out on top. But right now, the Z06 fits in from a looks perspective, from a styling perspective. And I really do like the way this hood has come out. In terms of install, between two people, it takes about a couple of minutes. I'd say 10-15 minutes if you know what you're doing. The hardest part really is getting these grommets to fit back in. We actually had to taper one of the holes on this side with a small Dremel bit, just to get it to fit, because the holes do come in a little bit small, and then you just have some bolts here. You want two people to hold it, and the only advice I can give, and again, this is not an install or how-to video, but make sure you have a couple people holding, or is the other person holding the hood, because when you undo these bolts, this will start to slide back a little bit. You do not want it to hit the windshield and shatter or crack your windshield. Very cool though is that the underside of it is also carbon, so this is a full carbon hood. It's legit. It's definitely a lot lighter than the factory hood. You can kind of feel it when you move it. One thing to be prepared for is when you do get this hood, the sounds that it's going to make when you're opening and closing are going to be a little bit flimsier sounding. So there's the auto pull down for the 24 and newer C8 Corvettes. It's going to sound a little flimsy, and that's not because the hood is flimsy, but it's actually because the hood is hollow on the inside. So when you open it up, the factory does have some insulation, whereas this one, it's a little bit hollow on the inside, so the sound kind of just travels through the hood when you open and close it. So if you do feel like it sounds a little bit different, that's simply because it's a lighter and hollow hood. Nothing really wrong with that. The looks far outweigh whatever sound difference only the owner's really going to experience or feel. So yeah, that is the C8 ZR1 hood on the C8 Z06. Absolutely love the look so far. We're going to get this polished up, PPF'd over the next couple days. And then I'll catch you guys on a sunny day to film the outro with all the financial numbers and my final thoughts on this hood. And here we have a Seawolf Gray E-Ray. I can't wait to get this car on the channel, but same thing, we did the carbon fiber hood on this car. When I say we, I mean my friend that owns the detailing shop. Just looks really good on this car. I think it really makes this color pop. And this car is getting a lot of PPF and paint correction and work done here, so it's going to look really good by the time we get it on the channel for a review. But completely changes how aggressive this car looks. And Seawolf Gray is a fantastic color in person. Stay tuned for more information on this car on the channel, but you guys can see this hood looks fantastic on a C8 Corvette Stingray Z06 or E-Ray. Absolutely changes the look and feel of the car. And we're back with the C8 Z06 on the outside. This hood's now been on the car for probably about a week now. Was waiting for a good sunny day to kind of film the outro. And I have to say, for $1,500, it definitely does a great job of making the car look a lot more aggressive, but there are some quality defects. If you look very closely in the right light, I don't think the camera's going to pick it up, but as I move through, you can see a little bit of waviness in this center portion. It is the only portion that has the waviness. The two outsides do not. The entire front portion does not, but that middle portion, probably because it is the biggest flat piece, has a little bit of waviness, and unfortunately all three hoods had this. So this is kind of what you can expect to get from the Chinese manufacturers of these carbon fiber hoods. Now for the money, I still think it is a great upgrade to make. I spent $1,550 to have this shipped to the door from directly the Chinese manufacturer. They send you pictures of them being built on the warehouse floor where their staff is assembling it, and they package it up and ship it straight to you. We got a discount for buying 3. Each individual was about $1,700 to buy. So that hopefully gives you an idea. The cheapest I've seen anyone post these publicly is about $2,200, so about a $500 margin, but I've seen some places mark them up as high as $5,000, $4,500 to $5,000 with shipping. And it is honestly, I think, the exact same hood as this. So be very careful while you buy these Chinese carbon fiber hoods. But I think it's a great product to add to the C8 Z06 that I am building, and it is a great review to make. I think if you're a perfectionist, you like absolute perfection. I don't know if this hood is for you, because I have one friend that's already considering taking his off just because of the waviness. All three have just this kind of like where it's just not flat, and so it's a little unfortunate. But it comes with the territory. Now polishing it and PPFing it would hide some of that. This hood has not yet been polished and ceramic coated. I will not be PPFing this hood. My friend said if I PPF it, it would hold more of a gloss. But unfortunately, because of the shape of the hood, the XPEL shop that would have to custom cut a piece for this, since the ZR1 has not been put in XPEL system. Not that that would actually even work, because the ZR1 hood is a little bit different, a little bit bigger, but to custom cut a piece for this hood would cost about $800 installed for paint protection film, is the quote that I got. And that has largely to do with all the little cuts and slats and the relief cuts that would need to get made. And unfortunately that drives up the cost. And for a hood that was $1,000 or so plus $550 to ship it, just doesn't make sense spending $800 to PPF it. But I will have it polished and ceramic coated, which will give it a little bit more of a glossy look to match the paint of the car. But let me know what your thoughts are on this hood on this particular car. I think once I do a carbon fiber wrap on the front splitter, as well as probably the side splitter will get wrapped in carbon fiber, I think all of that together will really round out the blue with carbon fiber for this C8 Z06 build. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. The Seawolf Gray I think actually looks the best with this hood. The Hypersonic Gray, which I unfortunately was not able to feature in the videos, I wasn't able to get my hands on that car. That also looks very good, but I think Seawolf with the carbon fiber is the best of the lot. So definitely a very good aesthetic and visual modification to any C8 Corvette is a carbon fiber hood. So that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. If you have not already, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And as always, until the very next video, I look forward to seeing all of you in the comment section below.